right, guys. So you submitted a bunch of questions, and wow, there were some pretty great questions. So I'm going to have my amazing producer, engineer, director, the greatest team maker ask me the questions, and then I'll give you either a full detailed answer or it'll just kind of be like rapid fire questions. So we'll see how it goes because, I like to ramble. So what's up, Ben?
What is up, Rhonda? I'm so excited to ask you these questions. You got a lot of questions.
I mean, I didn't call you Michael today.
You did.
See that?
You didn't call me Michael today. But honestly, I've never been called Michael. One person called me Andy, and they were like, "You just are gonna be Andy for me."
What up, Andy?
So we got Michael, we got Andy, we got Ben. All right, Rhonda, I got some questions. I got a couple questions. I'm gonna start off with my first one. All right, Rhonda, you are a marketing guru and the founder of Socially Loud. Can you share your journey with us? How did you come from a paralegal to becoming a successful entrepreneur in marketing?
Woo!
Loaded question.
That's a very loaded question. So I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. Grew up in Brooklyn, New York, my entire, life up until I was about 23 years old. I remember being in Coney Island. Like, I always had a job. I put myself in school. Again, my book will be released soon, and we'll get into greater detail. But I remember putting cereal inside of my daughter Jaslyn's bottle, and I remember a mouse falling out of the cereal box into her bottle, and it was fucking cold as hell in New York, and I was like super depressed and on welfare, like not really, like I had a job off and on, but of course you're still collecting, your food stamps, you still have your medical assistant, and I was always making money. And at the end of the day, I was fucking tired. I was a single mom to two daughters at that point, and I knew I needed a change. So, when you're in a poor bracket around your tax season, you get like anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 back. And I knew that that was like an opportunity for me to like really just leave New York and leave like all that pain and trauma and fucking coldness behind. So I packed up everything that I could in this like 1999 Honda Civic that I had, and I just like put whatever I can fit into it. And my sister at the time, she lived in Florida, and she was like, you totally can come like crash on the couch until you figure stuff out. And I still wanted to be a paralegal. I didn't know like yet what the future held, because I was like, okay, I've been a paralegal for so long, I can totally just go get a job as a paralegal because it's a market where you're always going to be in need. So I started working. I'll fast forward. I worked for a few law firms, got my own place within like literally 2 weeks, winded up paying first, last, and security to move into this beautiful house in Kendall, this huge house, right? I think rent was like $1,500 fucking dollars a month, which is crazy because I pay like $3,000 right now. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. And I lived in this house, and I started getting all this mail that the house was like in foreclosure. Long story short, it was a fraud. I got myself caught up in some fraud stuff that some guy just decided to act like a landlord and like charge me. So I lived in this house for like a year and a half rent free because the bank owned the house. So eventually the bank kicked me out and gave me some money to move. But again, another story. So I started working for this amazing person, Robert Fencersheib, who I like to call him my walking angel. God rest his soul. He's no longer with us. He was killed by his son, and then his son took his own life. So if you're battling anything suicide-wise, I'm going to throw this disclaimer in it. Reach out to me, slide in my DMs, because life's too short. And took me in, started working for him as a paralegal, moved up really quickly in his chain, was negotiating and settling a lot of the personal injury cases, and really was just bringing in so much money for him. And I hated working for people. Like, I didn't listen to no one. I didn't like to have managers or like people tell me what to do or like clock in and clock out. So I remember him telling me like, hey, you don't belong here. Like, why don't we do something together? Like, why don't you start your own business? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why would I want to start my own business? Like, what is that? And I almost started doing like some XXX stuff. Like, I almost built a warehouse in Dominican Republic and was doing some like porn stuff, and then God woke me up real quick, like, nope, we're not doing that. So there was some money left over from a business consultant fee that we had, and that's where like Hip Hop Gossip by Rhonda.com came into play. And I love being on the mic. I love hosting, and anyway, I was fucking broke. Like I was back to like not making no money, figuring out how I was gonna feed my kids, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna work. I lost my brother, who was schizophrenic, the day that I was supposed to have an interview with Club Play. And I winded up rescheduling because my brother passed away. And winded up rescheduling. Shout out to Stevie J, who now does live on Sundays, one of the hottest nightclubs here in South Florida. We used to have like a podcast together, more like a Keep It 100 FM, like a radio show. And his girlfriend at the time offered me like a job. She's like, sure, come in. Like Club Play was one of the most successful nightclubs on the beach. We did Wednesday comedy, Friday, something was always happening Friday, Saturday, we did Latin, Sunday was MMA. Like it was literally the hottest club on South Beach. So I started working, making nothing. I think I was making like $250 a week, and I was passing out flyers. Like that's how it kind of was like introduced to the whole marketing thing, but I loved it. Every celebrity athlete, someone of influence came through that building. I've met Justin Bieber, Nipsey Hussle, French Montana, Busta Rhymes, all the athletes. We used to have like Club Playgirls, so I was in charge of like the Club Playgirls and like the yachts and the mansions, and it was like a liaison with all the celebrities. So some of the best fucking times of my life. And then I just went to the owner, shout out to Aaron, and I was like, hey, like you're not doing newsletters, your social media, like this is when social media was just starting to pop off. You could be taking advantage of this. You have all these like athletes, nobody knows. Like, so he's like, okay, put together a proposal of what you can do. And that's where it started, guys. It started as Rhonda's Consulting. I put together a proposal. I should have had more zeros on that fucking proposal, but I have a lot of zeros now. So that's that. Again, life is a lesson and a challenge. And then a few years down the line, still not making no fucking money. And my friend's like, why is the company's name Rhonda Consulting? Like that sounds like a law firm. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, what about Socially Loud? And I was like, what about hell yeah? And it had a 95% brandability rate. So we had to pay like $10K just to get the domain. Like somebody had already brought it. But it didn't take, and we won't go into further detail because the whole freaking 15 minutes will be on here. It took till 2020 for me to start making money. So fast forward like 10, 15 fucking years of this. And then, yeah. So that's where Socially Loud came into play. And today we're one of the most successful creative marketing agencies, work with global brands around the world, and we're killing it.
That is unbelievable. I mean, that story, I mean, there's probably so many more.
So much more to unpack.
Stories,
Heartbeat.
But honestly, you did mention a little bit about God.
Yes.
And how he kind of guided you. What can you kind of talk a little bit more about how deep you are connected with your faith and how the relationship with God has guided you both in your business but also in your personal life?
I think coming from a Muslim household, like a very strict, dominant Palestinian Muslim household, a lot of stuff growing up was haram, very religious, very into no one's fault. Everyone believes in what they believe in. I'm not here to like dim any light on any religion. But for me, it didn't work. And I was always searching. I just always knew that there was a God, a higher spirit, something bigger, a power, a light that always drew me in. Like I could literally, like we spoke about Robert Fencersheim, and after having my third daughter, Leilani, I was severely depressed. Postpartum, I wanted to take my life. I hated the world. I was over 363 pounds. Like life was shit. And I couldn't pay my rent. I didn't have no food in the fridge. And I remember texting Robert and sharing that information with him, and him asking for my bank account, just like putting $10,000 in my bank account. So, or like not being able to pay my rent, and out of nowhere, this check miraculously appears in a mailbox that covers my rent. Or, meditation, taking a moment. I walk into my yard, I close my eyes. you can't tell me that feeling is not real. There's something bigger. And for me, that's God. So I walk a real spiritual path right now. Again, a path of just making sure the things that I put out in the universe are of greatness. I no longer steal. I no longer growing up, I did so much of that because I just didn't have it. I won't even take a lipstick. Like I won't even take a candy bar. So authentically, all around the fucking board, your life has to change. But yeah. Okay,
So you learned the lesson. I mean, God was basically, he was showing you the rights and the wrongs, right?
Always.
And always kind of teaching you and guiding you. Now you did, I know we're going through these questions, but as a single mom of 3 daughters and a grandmother to talk with first off, which is
shout out to Dream,
which is crazy, blows my mind. How do you balance it all? How do you balance your life, your family responsibilities, and then you have a full successful business? Is there a secret sauce? What is it?
I think it's loving yourself unconditionally and giving yourself grace and knowing you're not always going to be on. And as you get older, your level of hustle changes. I want to work smart. I don't want to work hard. Like the days of chasing the money, you don't have to chase it. What I learned is that when you just stay committed to the course, even on the days where you just want to lay in bed, ladies, you have your period and you just want to lay in bed and you don't want to work, that's okay. It's a real slow season for us right now. It's the end of the year. Brands are recirculating. Strategies are being redone. I sit on my patio a lot, drinking tea and smoking a J and doing whatever the fuck I want. So it's okay. So I think the balance comes in knowing that no matter what, God got me. And as long as I stay committed to the goals that I set for myself, even in my dating world, I have to date multiple guys because I'll know what I'm looking for when I meet him. How are we supposed to know who we're supposed to spend the rest of our lives with if we jump into relationships and not seed each one out and get to know people and have fucking fun? And have fucking fun. That's the beauty of everything. If you're not having fun along the way with everything that you're doing and that joy is not being exuded from within, and I probably just went totally left off the fucking question altogether. But again, nudge and share. So yeah, have fucking fun.
I loved it. Honestly, you're segueing me into some other questions, so it's actually perfect. So,
it's hot as hell in here, man.
Is it
I don't know if the braids need to come out at this point. I don't know if it's because I'm wearing a sweatsuit.
It might be.
Oh, look at my sweatsuit. No, it's cute.
She looks cute. She looks good.
Hey, okay.
All right. So I guess you know what? I'll ask you one more question. A pretty pack-filled question.
Okay.
You're passionate about empowering others. I know we've kind of talked, but especially women.
And empowered you.
Exactly. What inspired you to focus on female empowerment in both your career and your personal life?
I wish there was someone that would have told me. I wish that there was someone sooner that would have taught me more about life. I think one of the biggest gifts we can give other people is teaching them the gift of confidence. And confidence is necessary in everything we do. We teach our kids, get good grades, play for a great team, make sure you know everything that you want to do in your life by the time you get to college. No. Are they happy? Are we confident? So if someone would have told me, I wouldn't be 46 acting like I'm 25 in this dating world. I would have had gotten it right. I have 3 kids, 2 different fathers, both of them super narcissistic. And I called that to my life. Nothing is their fault. They were who they were. So that led to me raising kids on my own. That would have been totally different had I been guided a little better, had someone came in my corner and kind of just held my hand and said, hey, this is what it is. So I feel like God had me go through all of these different chapters of my life so that I can be that vessel of greater good for other women. I've had so many women come up to me over my life and tell me how I helped them start a business, or I motivated them to love themselves just by putting corny reels up on like Instagram, or I heard you speak at this event, you know. And I remember our first Empowered You Women's Conference, which we're coming back this year, with a focal point on attracting Palestinian women, because I feel like we need each other more than ever right now, and that support is so necessary. But why not? Why not like leave this earth knowing that the challenges that I faced as a human being really help shape someone else's life? You know, like one of the things I always say is I'm going to leave each person better. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to be nice, right? Because sometimes somebody needs to, like, you just need to rip them, and like you have to, because they just don't get it. Like, if I go buy a car and you tell me, come get this car and this is what it is, and I show up to go get the car and you're fucking full of shit, I'm going to like let you know. Because at the end of the day, like, we go back to moving with that integrity. We go back to moving with that accountability. We go back to saying the right thing. And if I'm operating like that and I come across you and you're not operating like that, it's my job to tell you. That's the way I look at it. But most of the time I try to do it with love, but a lot of time I don't, because we're living in some like really crazy times where everyone's just out to get whatever they can get from people. But the fulfillment that I get when I do these conferences, when I do this podcast, when I'm talking to women one-on-one, the feeling that I get is undescribable. The feelings that I've been getting lately are very different. They're just different. I don't move in that urgency. I move in the light. I flow. Like the mermaid emoji is my favorite used emoji right now. And I'm a Virgo. I'm an earth sign, and I've learned so much about Virgos.
I'm also a Virgo.
Fuck, Ben.
We're
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 everything.
Empowered. Yeah, I love it.
We are everything, literally, but we are a lot.
We are a lot.
And you gotta love us to know. You gotta know us to love us. You know, because beneath all that tough cookie exterior, like, I just want to feel supported and loved the way I give that support and love. And sometimes you're not always going to receive it, and that's okay. I've learned over the years that my job is not to receive it from certain people. My job is to give it. So as long as I'm walking this earth and as long as I have a story to tell, I'll always be a voice for someone else. And I think we may have another question. Just slide another one in there.
I think I can get one more in for you. So you've built an impressive career while being deeply connected, with your faith. We've talked about that already. Now, as a mom, what was one of the most challenging, I guess, milestones that you had to go through?
I think the main one is my girl's not having a dad. I think a lot of times you hear moms say, I don't need that motherfucker. Yeah, I can do this shit all up. No, you can't. You can never be a man. You can't be a man. And to the ladies that stop letting the fathers see their kids because he's not fucking you no more, I'm going to need that to stop. If a dad wants to be a dad, let the dad be a dad. Stop allowing what you guys went through in your personal relationship to alter that. Both of my daughter's fathers, like I said, they're not in their lives. One of them is deported. The other one, I have no idea where he is. Jocelyn and Leilani's father, we had a better relationship. I was with him off and on for 15 years, hot mess. All about it in my book. But it's not that he's a bad person. He just is not a dad. He's not a father to the girls in a way that they need them to be. So there's really nothing for us to talk about. What small talk are we going to have? I've been raising these girls by myself. So I will say that it is so important, ladies, if you do not have your kids yet, if you're getting there, if you're in a relationship, it is so important to see how that man treats women. How does he treat his mom, his grandmother? How is he around other kids? If he's cheating on you left and right, please don't have kids with him. Please don't have kids with him. If you feel those narcissistic moves, because that has been the biggest challenge, Ben. Like literally the biggest challenge is when my kids have these daddy-daughter days, or when I need that little bit of extra money or that little bit of extra support with them, it's just not there. And again, a father's role in a little girl's life is massive, and no mom can ever fill that role. So that I would say that would be one of the biggest challenges.
I can definitely see that. And honestly, when you're going through this, you've always though come up on top, and I mean, you have incredible children and they're doing so much with their lives. So you should be so proud of yourself.
I'm so proud of myself.
So,
yeah.
you know, I mean,
But we're Virgos, you know, we get in our head a lot.
We do.
And then you got to be like, yo,
yeah,
like, we're here.
Exactly.
Yes.
But yeah, so we have more questions, but I think we might have run out of time. So we'll have some more to do in the future.
So I'm going to end this and I'm going to play a song while I'm ending this. Hold on. Fast forward it a little bit. There we go. Ready? You got that?
Got it.
Stop letting other people treat you like you're average. Get your shit together. If you need someone to get in your corner and let you know, holla at me. And that is it. Another rap. We're rap.
Peace.
This is an Empowered You podcast.